everyone, it's the Bookatarian here for another video. Now today I will be starting a week-long reading vlog. So to start off with the books that I'm currently reading right now, The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. It's about a girl who comes home and her mom, I believe, committed suicide in her bedroom, and she seems to be under the impression that her mom is then turned into a bird and visited her one day after this whole thing played out. And I just started it. I'm like only 20-ish or so pages into it, so I'm still kind of waiting on it to get good. But yeah, that's just what I am reading right now. The Astonishing Color of After and Walk on Earth a Stranger. However, in case I get overwhelmed by the amount of grief that these books deal with, I may end up picking up Raven, the Teen Titans' first installment in the graphic novel series by Kim Garcia and Gabriel Picolo that they've written together, which is stories that alternate with Raven, Beast Boy, and Raven together, as well as I think the last one in this series so far is surrounding Robin. I believe. I don't own that one yet, but I own the first three, so in case I get overwhelmed with deep emotions, I'll just pick those graphic novels up to kind of break it up. Hello, it is Saturday morning. I'm about to go into work, but I thought I would catch you all up on what I have been reading. Now, I read a few more pages of The Astonishing Color of After, and I think the writing is just too flowery for me, especially coming from I know it is magical realism, but it's mostly contemporary. So it was just not what I was expecting going into it. So I'm going to put it down, return it to the library, maybe pick something else up. I did, however, finish Walk on Earth a Stranger, which I enjoyed. There are some things about it that really ticked me off, so much as the main character being not like other girls to the extreme. I do enjoy that she was also not like considered a beauty or anything, so her standards aren't like insane to that effect, and then somehow not being fancied by these men that are all kind of trying to court her, but it also just kind of dragged a little bit in some places, and I felt that the main antagonist of the whole kicking off of the plot took such a long time to catch back up with the main characters and her cast of friends that it was just like, we almost forgot you were there, and then you showed up at the very end and were completely dismissed. That was how the book ended. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it for the most part, especially the setting and the realism depicted in what it was like to travel to the Wild West during that time period. It portrayed everything happening pretty well. Anyways, the whole thing just skewed very accurate as far as what that historical time period would be like. So I enjoyed that part, but overall, book is 3 stars. I have started a new book, a new audiobook, I should say, on Scribd as well. One for All. It's a book that I've been having my eye on for a while, probably since it was released. I don't remember what the author's name is, but I will leave her, I will leave the book and the author mentioned in the description box down below. So if you want to go and look it up, it follows a girl whose father was a Three Musketeer, but the Three Musketeers have since been disbanded. I don't know what exact chronological illness she has, but chronic, good God, I can't speak. I don't know what chronic illness she is diagnosed with at this time, because it literally just started and I've gotten a few chapters into it. Hasn't been named as far as I know, and it is set in France. And I know it is Own Voices as well. I think I will pick up one of the graphic novels later in the day after I get off of work, which is not going to be until at least 7 o'clock at night, so that's going to be fun for me. But I will catch you up later tonight to see how much I've ended up reading today. Alright, so I just got back from work. It is a little after 6:30 at night. I listened to a very small amount of One for All on the way to and from work during the commute, so I'm maybe got a chapter farther into it than I was previously when I started it this morning. But I also picked up Raven by Garcia and Gabriel Picolo. It's a series of graphic novels following the Teen Titans. This specific one that I'm reading, I know there's a whole bunch of other graphic novels that are about other DC superheroes that have the same design similarities as these ones do, but I'm pretty sure that's their own series, and those should all be complete standalones, not related to each other. Whereas the characters from these, I'm pretty sure all intermingle in like the same high school, essentially. So the first book, I should summarize it. His first graphic novel is depicting Raven, who has just, her mom passed away in a car accident, I believe, and she has amnesia from that same accident, and she has to kind of remember her life, what she liked and what she didn't like. She's also kind of discovering her powers along the way. So I hope that we get more of her backstory in this graphic novel. I know it's not the same as the comics that she was originally written for, but either way. So I will definitely be finishing this tonight. I'm going to take a bath, eat some dinner, read, maybe watch a few episodes of Bones or something before I go to bed. But that'll be my last check-in for the night. I probably will read a little bit more of One for All, and I'll update you on that in the morning. Good morning. It is Sunday, just after 10 a.m. I'm finished with my required work of the day, so I don't have to worry about anything else except doing all of the housework and things like that. But I thought I'd catch you up to speed since the things that I've been reading has changed, and I have some things that I want to discuss. So I finished Teen Titans Raven last night before I went to bed, and I really enjoyed it. It's the first time I've thoroughly enjoyed a graphic novel like that in a while. I enjoy manga, but for a lot of the shorter graphic novels and manga and comics and things, I find it hard to really connect with the characters and care about them and feel that they've gotten enough character development in one single volume because they're all so short. But this one did it very well. I think it might be because of the amnesia thing. Either way, I still really, really enjoyed it. And so I will eventually be picking up the next installment, which is about Beast Boy, at some point. Probably not today, because I kind of want to take a little bit of a break, because I'm really, really into One for All right now. I got to about the halfway point, and I'm really enjoying it. I think historical settings nowadays, they have to be something different from what I have read before, which is a lot of World War II settings in general. I really enjoy the setting and how accurate and realistic it is to the time period, so I can understand the characters even more, essentially, as where they're coming from and their frustrations about the roadblocks that they keep hitting. So if you didn't know, I don't know if I summarized this book fully, but this is about the main character, whose name is Tanya, whose dad was a former musketeer, and she grew up learning fencing and wanting to be a musketeer as well, because that was something her father was so passionate in, and it was meant to be something that they would share one day, except for the fact that she is a girl and it is not allowed for women to become musketeers. One day it is discovered that her father has been murdered by apparent bandits on one of his journeys, and she is kind of left to the pieces of dealing with the grief of her loss of her father and the disappointment at how he had supposedly died. And he had apparently made arrangements with her mother to send her to a kind of a finishing school, I think it's supposed to be labeled. I don't remember what it's called, but it is a school in Paris, and so she is sent there to learn to become a proper lady, essentially. Unbeknownst to her, though, the headmaster, mistress, or whatever of the school is a friend of her father's, who also had similar interests in fencing and becoming a musketeer as the main character, and she has been secretly using her school to train a select few students in learning how to become their own branch of musketeers, pretty much. The main character is disabled. Like I said earlier, she has some kind of chronic illness that makes her really dizzy and kind of hard to walk. And I think there might be a little bit of lesbian coupling baiting among the two other students in the group, maybe, or at least one of them is. But I really enjoy that a lot of these girls, if not all of them, seem to be unique and different from each other, but not stereotypical. I haven't noticed any major stereotype problems that I usually tend to have, which is really refreshing, especially from historical fiction. I can see why a lot of people have been really raving about this book. So I have a question. Is anybody else who just happened to Anna and the French Kiss? Is anybody who has read both Anna and the French Kiss and One for All, but read Anna and the French Kiss first, automatically just so on guard when you meet Etienne? I mean, just by his name, let alone the fact that he's the son of the guy who murdered her father. His name alone is enough to make me automatically assume he is a bad guy, even though she's all confused and flirty around him. I'm like, nope, he's evil, and you cannot convince me otherwise. So it's made reading this book very interesting. I have about 100 pages left, so I'm going to go back to reading it now, but I just thought I'd ask in case anybody else had a similar experience to that, because makes me laugh. I did finish One for All. I gave it 4 stars. Some of the things, like, I kind of predicted a few things. Like I said about Etienne earlier, I kind of saw the foreshadowing of just his name being Etienne, although I don't think that's what the author meant by it. She just wanted to give him a French name, which is understandable. But I saw a few things coming, and so it kind of didn't necessarily take away the enjoyment of it, but there was just a combination of other things too that seemed to like remind me of a lot of different things. Like there was literally a quote from The Princess Bride that is just barely changed a little bit to fit the context of the character saying it, and the main character ended up being Inigo Montoya by the end of the movie. So it was just funny. I still enjoyed it a lot. It was a very solid read, but it was just a few random things that ended up making me laugh rather than taking the situation seriously. I'm now going to focus my intention The Wolf and the Woodsman. Otherwise, I will probably continue with the graphic novel series that I have going on. I don't have the 4th book, so I'd have to stop at book 3. But either way, I'll hopefully read the 2nd and 3rd book over the next few days. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday. I don't think I updated at all yesterday, which I just had a very abhorrently awful day yesterday. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I have an interview this afternoon for a job, so I am dressed all up for that. Then I'll have work later in the day, of course, and then I will be back home. I have made a little bit more progress with The Wolf and the Woodsman. I'm a little bit less than 100 pages into it, still enjoying it a lot. I really enjoy the turn the book made so early on. I love it when books kick off the plot sooner rather than later. And given this book is a standalone, it should at least mostly be expected that that would happen. But that is all I have to say for this check-in. I will maybe potentially check in tomorrow to update you if I finished anything or if I've just made more progress. you.